For anyone who has followed Hyperliquid, and it's not a lot of people, it's sort of amazing to me still how few people, even people who consider themselves to be very knowledgeable in the crypto world, how few people really understand what's gone on here in the last 3 years, right? In less than 3 years, a company with 10 employees and zero external capital, no VC money, no private equity money, zero external capital, 10 employees sitting in Singapore have built what I think is the most exciting and probably fastest growing crypto exchange in the world that right now is free cash flowing, call it between $1 billion and $1.5 billion a year on an annualized basis. Like that right there is a pretty amazing feat. Secondly, we think the structure they came up with for their token is really interesting. They did an airdrop 9 or 10 months ago, and what they said was they would use the vast majority of their free cash flow to buy back that token. I believe today the free cash flow buyback rate is something like 99%, might be exactly 99%. And what's also great about it is it's happening every single day. It's happening automatically in the protocol. So, a regular company, they generate earnings, they have a board meeting, the board sits around and decides, do we want to use those earnings to buy back stock, or do we want to pay a dividend, or maybe we want to build a new headquarters building, or maybe we want to buy our CEO a new plane, or maybe we want to pay people more. There's a lot of things they can do with that money. Here, it's pretty locked in. 99% of free cash right now is going to buy back the token. So we think that's all really interesting and really creative and very new. You casually mentioned, Felix, that anyone can just go buy the token. You casually mentioned that sitting in Vancouver right now. For all the rest of us sitting in the United States, it isn't so easy. As people may or may not know, the Hyperliquid Exchange, which is really the main place where Hype is traded, the Hyperliquid Exchange is not available in the United States. If you go to it in the United States, you'll see a big, ugly red bar on top that says you're in a location that's not able to access the exchange. So for a lot of people, for a pretty big percentage of the investing world and the crypto investing world, it's not so easy to buy the token in the United States. We can debate, I actually enjoy the debate about whether DATs should exist and whether they create value that couldn't be created on their own. I think they do, but I can frankly argue either side of that one. There's some real need to. We are solving a scarcity problem for a very large percentage of the investing world by making this easily accessible through our digital asset treasury company that will be publicly listed on the NASDAQ for people that can't easily do it.
This is a very efficient way to get exposure. This is also the only way for many people to get the exposure, but I think both of those things are important. And then the third thing I'd say is that both David and I recognize that, wow, what an opportunity here for the investors because of the explosive growth of Hyperliquid and Hype. And again, think about that. The only token in the top 10 tokens that has not been around for a decade is Hype. How did it get in the top 10? Because of the explosive growth, the success, the cash generation, the buyback program. All of these things mean this price has real appreciation ahead of it. And so the opportunity for this equity investment to grow is significant. This isn't just buying a bar of gold and putting in a public listing. It's very, very different with huge opportunity. And that's what got David and I so excited.
The other thing I would say, Felix, I mean, you're clearly well in the crypto world. And I think most people probably listening to this podcast consider themselves to be pretty crypto aware or crypto native, et cetera. But there are still plenty of people, serious investors with serious money. I was literally having a conversation with someone over the weekend. He said, I probably should buy some Bitcoin. I never have. What do you think? I said, of course you should. We just debated how much. And he said, yeah, I'm just going to buy the BlackRock ETF or one of those things. And I said, that's perfectly fine, but open a Coinbase account and buy some Bitcoin directly. You're a big boy. You should get the full experience. You have a brokerage account. It's easy to buy ETFs, but take the extra 5 minutes. And so the point I'm making is there's still a very large percentage of the world out there that find opening a Coinbase account and buying some Bitcoin directly to be weird and not what they're used to doing. So to invest in our company, invest in Hyperliquid Strategies, you won't have to open a Coinbase account. You can go on your own brokerage account and buy the ticket.
Providing access to the fastest growing token that is yield generating, that is part of the ecosystem with an incredible revenue generation, stealing market share from everyone. This is a very, very, very exciting investment.